Monday morning for me, usually my filming day, try to get up bright and early and get to the facility here at Richmond Hill and try to do some filming for the week. Yesterday, some of you may have seen that Canada qualified for the World Cup, I think for the first time in like 20-something years. So was hanging out with my neighbors, definitely had a few more drinks than I probably should have before a work day, and coming this morning and I'm just pretty tired. So I wanted to make some driver videos today. I actually, I tried filming a few before this, and what I noticed was just when my body's fatigued, the amount of really bad habits I get back into, like how armsy I get, how low the club gets, and how kind of, much my body freezes and isn't rotating properly. So I've got 8-iron here, set the green kind of short, it's 150 yards. The first drill I want to work on is the one I sort of described to you in a video last week, which is the feeling of the hand staying high and the body generating the downswing and the hand staying way back. Now, it's a drill I sort of introduced and chatted with you guys about, but I haven't really worked on it much. I haven't really hit more than a couple shots that way. So I want to hit some. I want to see what it does to my path. I want to see how it affects my rotation and just talk you guys through that process. So actually quite a good feeling when to start. So one thing a lot of people ask me about is like, I'll do a drill like this and it's a good observation. A lot of people will comment like, it looks like your head is going towards the target way early. Is that something I should try to do? To me, I think it's just a habit because I do have a lot of restriction in my neck and my shoulders just from some of the jaw issues I've had. So for me, it just helps me free up the upper body to turn sooner. Once I get this going a bit better, I think I'll be comfortable creating separation while still letting my eyes stay low a bit longer. But the body language for now is you probably see me with a little bit of this body language. So again, I'm feeling like that strike occurs really, really late. I almost feel like I'm here and then the ball's getting struck, like my whole body almost gets to the target. So these are some decent feeling reps to start. Definitely feel like the arms are a little bit more passive. It's a pretty good feeling one as well. So what I'm starting to feel is a little bit of separation between lower body and upper body. And I'm feeling a little bit more leg action as well. I'm definitely feeling the legs getting more engaged in this. I'm not really thinking about that, which is why I like this drill. I mean, I've had some trouble thinking, squatting and rotating as this trigger to my swing, only because I'm doing that, but my arms are so overactive that I'm kind of squatting and rotating and sticking the club in the ground. And that's something you guys have seen me talk about. So as I explore this, I'm trying to figure out what, the smartest route for my tendencies is to improving this kind of motion. I think for me, because of how low and quick I get with the arms, I think I really need to address the arms first before I really start getting into the lower body. And that's much better. So feeling the arms quite delayed there. And a few things I look for in terms of ball flight that let me know this is, going a lot better than normal. I'm producing quite a bit of spin and height on a shot, even though it's about 20 yards shorter than my normal carry. So these aren't done at full speed for obvious reasons. As I've mentioned, it's tough to ingrain a drill at full speed. But to me, I know I take away a lot of loft. I smother the ball a lot when my body is disconnected from the arms. So when the arms go way too early, I tend to kind of give it one of these, add a lot of shaft lean to artificially, kind of keep the ball either on line or to keep the ball from ballooning or to keep from sweeping it. Whereas when I leave the arms back and rotate better, I actually feel like, being a little bit more open at impact. I'm still leaning the shaft, but I'm delivering a little bit more of a natural amount of loft, which is why, something like 7,000 spin on an 8-iron for a drill swing is actually a pretty good sign to see. So I'm gonna hit one more like this, and then I'm gonna add something into this drill. I'd say that one was decent. Not as good as the prior one, but a decent rep for sure. I'm gonna see if now I can take that feeling of leaving the arms high as I start the downswing and combine that with the feeling of my right shoulder, lead shoulder, coming a little bit more down and around in the downswing. I'm going to see if this is too much. I mean, it might be too much for me to do all at once, but those two things go hand in hand. So if the arms are more passive and staying high, and I'm rotating more with the upper body versus tilting back, we should start to see a swing that really looks more like that into impact versus that into impact, which is kind of where I am now. So I actually think that felt really good. Yeah, I'm super happy with that. So numbers wise, now that's a very neutral path. Again, we talked about this in the previous video. It doesn't have to be at 0, but to me that's a good sign that I got the lead shoulder going down and around. Angle of attack came a little bit steeper, and still the hit felt very late with those arms high. So the arm stayed back as the body turned, right shoulder got low and around, and to be honest, that's probably one of the best feeling iron strikes I've had in quite some time. And that one was pretty good. I want to say maybe the arms didn't stay as high as before, but I'll call that a decent rep. Again, very new, actually a little bit out to in, which I'd like to see. Man, that one felt really good too. So I'm kind of feeling like this is manageable. It's not easy, I'll say that. I am working hard. I don't know that I would sit and hit 50 balls like this. A good practice session for me, I think, would be, let's say 15, 20 shots just strictly with that first drill we talked about, which is just leaving the hands high and back as I turn, which is like this. That kind of shot, very simple. Definitely helping me sequence the swing better. Then I'd probably mix in, I don't know, let's say about 15 to 20 from the previous video that I did, which is strictly just the lead shoulder going down and around more, trying to move the path a little bit steeper and more out to in. So that would look like this. Trying to kind of feel those fade type swings. It's a pretty good rep, so that's actually quite a bit out to in there and quite a bit steeper. Pretty happy with that. So made some progress there, obviously, since the last session. And then I might try to hit, 10 to 15 shots combining the two. So hand staying high as I rotate, right shoulder, lead shoulder moving down and around in the downswing. And that's much better. So a little bit of that down and around with the right shoulder and a little bit of that arm staying back. Starting to produce some really nice looking shots, and the strikes are feeling a lot better. I'm sure you guys can hear the contact, the amount of spin on the ball, the quality of the strike. These are the types of things that I really want to get a lot better with. I'm going to try a couple just to begin with, a little bit slower speed where I feel the arms stay back as the lower body initiates the downswing. Let me see if I can start to sequence this a little bit better. I want to say that was an okay attempt. Felt a little different. Yeah, that's different. So that was actually much more down on the ball, 5 degrees down, and less end out, only 4.8 degrees end out. And I think, honestly, that was a pretty good attempt as well. Yeah, I mean, still a bit more end out than I want to be, but the club's starting to move a little bit more down and a little bit less end out, and I think hopefully you guys will see the sequencing was just a little bit better. The hands were a little bit less kind of pulled down. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. What I think might be happening, to be honest, is my body is definitely rotating a bit better because I can see the path is moving better. I've just got very overactive hands. So part of what's going to happen is, I think, as I rotate a little bit better and my body gets a bit more open, those hands are still used to being overactive. I'm probably going to hit some left. And that's, again, Larry tells me all the time, it's one of the best tips I've ever had is if you want to learn a motion, you cannot get obsessed with contact. You cannot get obsessed with results and perfect ball flights. If you want to learn the motion, you got to put up with some shots like that and basically be happy with progress in your movement patterns, and the ball flight will follow eventually. Contact will follow eventually. So, and that felt honestly really good. That one felt really nice. Starting to see the ball actually have a little bit of backspin on it, which to me is kind of like I talked about left-handed. That's a sign that, I'm not smothering it as much, That's a lot more spin than I started with. That's a much higher ball flight than I started with. That one felt pretty nice. Starting to, as I said, starting to get a little bit more spin on the golf ball. I can tell by that ball flight that it's a much better sequence motion. Yeah, so just the thought of not going at them full really allows me to feel the arms delay a little bit more and sequence the swing better, and that was a really good feeling swing. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Happy with that as a session. I'm definitely starting to get tired. So for me on the right-handed swing, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm not entirely sure what Larry's going to have us work on, but I have a feeling that obviously we're going to continue working on the leg action, but I just wanted to give myself a little bit of a feel for how it might be for me to leave the hands back a bit, because I think he'll probably mention that it's a bit of an obstacle if I start getting really low with the hands early and then try to squat. Let's take the club in the ground. So just a bit of a warm into session for the lesson that we'll be doing tomorrow. This is the type of practice session I would recommend for you if you are kind of the person that feels like you're all arms. The arms get ahead of you, you hit some pulls, you hit some hooks, your ball flight's inconsistent. It's often because the body's not what's generating, or the body's not what's leading the golf swing. The arms are what's leading the golf swing, and that's what makes it all timing based. So for me, just the simple feeling of the arms staying high, make sure that the body goes first and the arms follow. So the arms should feel a bit more passive, a little bit later hit, that kind of thing. Should really help you kind of straighten out and be more consistent, which is probably one of the number one things that I hear from everybody is they just want to be more consistent. It's a pretty good drill to kind of get yourself there. As always, leave me a comment if you have any questions. Happy to answer anything that you have, and thanks for watching.